Inside this shoebox are receipts. They're receipts for prescription costs, doctor appointments, feminine products, you name it. I'll show you how you can become a millionaire with these receipts and how you can do it with an HSA. An HSA or health savings account is a special type of account designed to help you save for medical expenses. Personally, I think it should be called a health investment account because of its insane tax benefits. So let's get into it. You or your employer contributes to your HSA with pre-tax money. Then you can use that account for medical expenses. Contribution limits for 2024 is $4,150 for single coverage and $8,300 for family coverage. And if you're 55 and older, you can put an extra $1,000 in there. And by the way, that's employee and employer. So if your boss puts $4,000 in your HSA, you can only put $150. The money in your HSA can only be used for qualified medical expenses, things like doctor visits, prescription costs, dental care, and vision care. But here's another known tip. It can be used for things like pill boxes, tampons, hand sanitizers, condoms, and even sunscreen. HSAs have triple tax benefits. The money you put in isn't taxed. It grows tax-free, and then when you withdraw it for medical expenses, that's tax-free too. The money that you put in isn't taxed because it comes pre-tax from your paycheck, and your employer can match a contribution too. Your HSA is interest bearing. That means you can invest it in stocks and index funds and really anything you want, and it grows tax-free. The really cool thing is your HSA does not expire. If you leave your job, your HSA goes with you. To be able to open an HSA, you must be enrolled in something called a high deductible health plan or an HDHP. You can't be enrolled in Medicare, you can't have any other healthcare coverage, and you cannot be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. How do you know if you have a HDHP? So a high deductible health plan has higher deductibles than normal health plans. It has a greater out-of-pocket cost, and it has a lower health premium than other health plans. This means that every month you pay lower monthly insurance premiums, but whenever you go to the doctor, you pay more out of pocket until your insurance kicks in. In order to qualify for an HSA, your HDHP cannot exceed $8,050 for single coverage or $16,100 for family coverage in its annual deductible and out-of-pocket costs. To find out if your healthcare plan qualifies as an HDHP, look at your summary of benefits. HDHPs are not for everyone, like people with chronic illnesses, because they go to the doctor a lot. And that means with an HDHP, you're paying a lot of out-of-pocket costs before your insurance kicks in. Now, most of you have a W-2 job, which means your employer most likely has an HSA already set up. Just go with that option. Now, let's say they don't have an HSA set up, you can set up a self-directed HSA with a company like Fidelity. We talked about making contributions pre-tax, but how do you actually go about doing that? Now, if you have an HSA with your employer, the easiest way is to have them make contributions from your paycheck directly. If that's not an option, or if you have a self-directed HSA, you can still make contributions after tax. Now look, you're probably worried about getting your money. Don't worry, you'll see all those tax savings once you file your tax return. Now, what if your employer's HSA just completely stinks? Don't worry, you can transfer your HSA to a self-directed HSA. There are two ways that you can transfer the money in your employer's HSA to a self-directed HSA. The first way is called a direct transfer. It's really simple. You just contact your HSA provider and ask them to initiate a direct transfer. That means they automatically take money from your employer HSA and they put it into your self-directed HSA. Now, the second way is called a rollover. This is where you handle all of the back end. That means you take money out of your employer's HSA and then deposit it into your self-directed HSA. Now watch out, you have to deposit that money into your self-directed HSA within 60 days or you'll receive severe penalties and taxes. Whether you're doing a direct transfer or rollover, you want to watch out for transfer fees and closure fees. And by the way, you can only transfer money from your employer's HSA to a self-directed HSA once every 12 months. So pick a special day to do that. Finally, we're getting into the section that can make you an HSA millionaire. Now here's the way that most people use their HSAs. They contribute to their HSA pre-tax, which is right, but then they let their employer pick the investments in their HSA, and then whenever they go to the doctor, they pay out of their HSA. They never let their investments grow. Now, just like normal, you still contribute to your HSA pre-tax from your paycheck, but here's the different thing. You control what investments your HSA is involved in. That means you can either work with your employer's HSA provider or you go with your self-directed HSA provider like we talked about before. Here's the secret that no one's gonna tell you. From now on, whenever you go to the dentist, go to the doctor appointments, get prescription, whatever it is, I don't want you to use your HSA. Instead, I want you to pay that bill directly, whether it's with a cashback rewards credit card or just with cash, and save the receipt. Put it in a shoebox, scan it digitally, whatever you do, save that receipt. Regarding what to invest in with your HSA, just pick something like a target date index fund or something safe and secure like bonds for long-term situations. The whole purpose of not paying your bills right out of your HSA right now is so that way you can let it grow. Because remember, it grows tax-free. And here's the cool secret. There are no rules about how long you can keep your medical receipts. That's right. These could be 10 years old and you can still use them down the line. Once you're older and your HSA is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can actually take one of these receipts and say you paid $1,000 for a medical bill and you can request that money back tax-free. Now here's the new IRS rule. Once you're 65 years older, you can actually take that money out of your HSA like a normal retirement account and just pay normal ordinary income taxes. That means there's no more penalty. Let's play what if. What if you max out your HSA every single year? What if the maximum contribution limit goes up $200 every year? What if your return on investment is 6%? What if you start at age 26? Well, by age 65, you should have over $1 million in your HSA. That's enormous. That's like a whole nother retirement account. Watch out for these common mistakes. The first is any expense that happens before you open your HSA is a non-qualified medical expense. That means you can't request reimbursement for it. The second is don't take money out before the age of 65 or you'll pay income taxes and an additional penalty tax of 20%. And lastly, if you're 65 and older and plan on enrolling in Medicare, you have to make sure you stop contributing to your HSA 6 months before you enroll. Now with that, I'm on my way to becoming the #1 personal finance channel, so stick around and subscribe for more things just like this. I'm talking street quizzes, financial audit, and some weird magical wizard content. I want to change the way that you think about finances so that way you're financially fit and free. Thanks for watching.